Welcome, it's SVPod. Red is at my feet. Stanford Steve is in Knoxville. I don't want to curse right out of the gate. It's Sunday morning. With apologies, if you're on your way to church, I'll give you a moment. Mute it, whatever. But to quote the big man, holy shit, what a day of college football. I'd say it more eloquently, but that's as accurate as I got, man. What a day.
Oh, and game after game after game after game. It was just unbelievable. What a card. What a card.
Incredible outcomes, significant flip-flops, late with a dropped snap on an extra point in South Bend. Irish now, 2 very close competitive losses, significant potentially, given what they've got in front of them. They don't have a ton of games where they can really wow folks, but I think we know they're good. I got a lot written down, but the game of the day, and it has a chance, let's just put this to the side early in September and say, when we revisit the games of the year, the game that you were at today.
Oh my God.
It had everything. It had everything. Everything. Start in the morning with that scene. I turn it on and I'm like, whoa.
Oh, yeah.
The passion of Knoxville is evident.
Yeah.
How was it?
Absolutely fantastic. This place is great. I mentioned it's been a while since I was here, talking to people here, how different the campus is, how popular it's getting. Buildings are going up. They're losing bars, but everybody's in a good mood. It was a spectacular day, high 80s in the sun. I felt for those guys out there at game day. They roasted.
Yeah.
The university kicked them out yesterday. They didn't want anybody sleeping over, and they showed back up at 5:30, ready to go. And I went out for SportsCenter at 7:30 with Dez, and you could just feel the loud, like not a big crowd where we are in front of Ayers Hall. But it was set up perfectly, and they brought it. They brought it all day. They were fantastic. I mean, taunting Kalen DeBoer with the FSU tomahawk, yelling Clemson's overrated. I mean, they were on it. But they are as good a fan base as there are. They're enormous.
Yep.
They're passionate.
Yep.
And we haven't been there as much, as we've gone to Georgia or Alabama. So it felt really special. And, this group of people hadn't done a show there together, So we felt it, and they responded. When coach is talking, it's dead quiet.
Yeah, you could tell. You could tell that. Like I'm watching, and you could tell that. Like, I mean, the people talk about ball knowers. The folks in Knoxville are ball knowers, and
oh yeah.
Yeah, they hated Saban, and they broke out the cigars when they beat him for a reason, because there's respect, and you could tell when there's hushed tones here because they want to hear what are they saying, and then when the big man picked Georgia, they didn't like that too much, but nor should they. They didn't come up early in the morning to sit there and cook like bacon in the sun to hear your big ass pick the other team. But I understood what you said. You made the point. Hey, look, we saw you do it for 30 minutes, right? And I mean, we can laugh about the things we say and stay in the fight and signing up for 60. The Georgia Bulldogs showed you what it is to stay in the fight and to sign up for 60 plus.
Mm-hmm.
Because Tennessee scores once, twice, 3 times in a row. And I wrote down, Steve, like, the question about them was, Gunnar Stockton, first couple of games, Marshall, Austin Peay. And I said to Kirby when he joined me, I said, you probably haven't played all the cards in your deck. You haven't had to. Okay, we'll see. Can he throw the ball downfield? First time they get the ball down the field, they go. But what we know, Georgia's got a defense. Well, they got their ass smoked in the first quarter. And you're like, whoa, buddy. Take a deep breath. And they stops. I mean, 44-41 is your final. But Georgia was able to kind of settle in. You knew, like, Tennessee's they're not going to score 21 a quarter. We understand that. But I just was impressed with Georgia's ability to absorb not just scoring drives, Steve, but absolute haymakers. And then as the game got late and the score's changing hands, like these incredible you got mossed plays, and it could have broken a lesser team. And it just didn't. It just didn't.
I don't know if another person coaching that Georgia team today wins that game. They embody him like no other.
I agree. And you know what I notice about him is like the games where you see him going absolutely bananas, it's when they're ahead. Or it's in games where, like, all I saw from him today in the middle of the storm was calm. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
like,
yeah.
He projects a calm, and I think that that's really brilliant. The coach goes crazy when he thinks he has to, right? When I've got to do something to motivate my guys. If I project calm, maybe my guys will stay calm. And I thought they certainly did. Because Tennessee gave them plenty of opportunities to just, I'm going to tap. We're good. We got chances down the road. Today's not our day. And they just didn't.
No. And you saw that they were going to come out swinging. You know, I was, still wondering about Georgia's offense, watching them against Austin Peay, getting stuffed on a 4-down situation before the half and then have a weather delay, consistency on the offensive line. Their protections were all messed up. They were running guys in and out. They had probably their 2 best guys hurt. They didn't finish the game again today, but they just kept staying in it. And it was as good a building as there is, Scott. Georgia didn't get a 3rd down on the first drive. You know, they hit that and then they got the runs and boom, it's 7-7. I'm like, we are on one.
Yep, quick.
And then Tennessee scores in 2 plays and it's just on fire. I mean, as loud as there is. Then we get to the first 3rd down and I'm like, oh boy. This is all day. It is going to be nonstop. And they get a stop, and then Tennessee scores again and goes up 21-7. So the idea for Tennessee, and what was really cool was talking to Nick all weekend just about the idea of what you have to do in preparation. He got into a little bit on game day, and he's like, when you play he calls them fastball teams where, you know, they're running plays every 21 seconds, and how you have to adapt your practice and just say, all right, we got 2 scout teams and we're going to go run 8 plays and then go back and assess things. Guys are taking notes. Every coach, the quality control, position coaches, they're taking notes. They go back and they assess it. And he's like, I believe that's what Kirby, that's where we got to when Kirby was still with me. And so he's like, that's what Kirby did. And when you see Kirby come off, I'm like, I'm going over that side. I want to see what Kirby's saying to his team. Sat his guys down. And you could tell, he's like, are we communicating? Are we on the same page? Because it was pretty evident. They were, what's my man's name? They were going at number 1, Ellis Robinson, the 4th. And boy, was he caught it. And then he pulled him, and then he brought in Daniel Harris. And then Harris gives up the long one to make it 28-27. Where he thought he got an interception the whole time, and the receiver just makes a great play. But I can't tell you like what Georgia was up against every single time they had the ball. And what I noticed in watching Austin Peay and Marshall, and I get it, those are 2 teams, but they ran the ball consistently, and they got backs, man. Their skill guys are awesome. Colby Young, I was talking to their player personnel guy. He's like, yeah, he's like 6'4". I'm like, bullshit. He towers over me. I'm 6'3". He's like, all right, 6'5". I'm like, he's 6'6". And then one of my favorite players, you saw my 2 favorite players in the portal that were receivers.
Branch.
Showed out today. Branch and then Concepcion for A&M that we'll get to. And then, you know, you get Noah Wilson from A&M, who's got awesome size. And I was really, really happy for Gunnar Stockton because everybody tells the story about the SEC championship last year and how the guys rallied around him, and they love him because he's the guy that goes at their defense every day, blah, 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 and he has all the records, but he doesn't look like a quarterback. He's stocky. His legs are enormous, but he comes out and throws that first fade. I'm like, good for him, man. Like they're gonna do it this way. Finally, to your point, we're gonna see some of the things that Georgia hasn't shown,
right?
And I mean, the momentum swings were just astounding in there. And
some point you think that it won't continue to. It's absurd. It's absurd to think that we could. It's like that amusement park ride that goes all the way this way and then swings all the way back that way. And you're like, how many times can this happen? And it just kept happening. Mm-hmm. And then when they get the hit and the strip sack and it's 35-30 and you're like, Tennessee went conservative.
Yep.
I get it. But that's a chance to land a knockout blow, and they don't. And when you're only up 8, you leave the door ajar. And all the credit in the world to the throw that Stockton makes on 4th down.
To Humphreys.
And the catch he made. And
Unreal.
Then they run some kind of a pick to get their guy wide open. If they don't call it, everybody runs some version of it.
It was just the Chiefs play against the Eagles.
Whatever. It's a tie game, and then as soon as they get the stop, all my children ever want to know are, Dad, if they win, will they rush the field? And I said, 1,000%. 1,000%. But I say we go to overtime. I'm skipping over the end game where Tennessee, I thought, they iced their own kicker effectively, who'd never attempted one. And the way that the false starts and the sequence, it took forever for that kid to go out there. And bless his heart, I'm just sitting there, and my kids, they think I know everything before it happens. And I mean, winners 8-2, no big deal. Maybe I do. But they're like, Dad, if he makes his, will they rush the field? I said, 1,000%, but there's no chance he's making this. Why? I said, I don't know. Look at him. He looks like you. I just thought he just looked so young and small, and the moment felt like there's 110,000 people's hopes on your shoulders, and buddy, that's a fucking lot.
Oh, God, yeah.
That's a lot. Now, he made the kick in overtime.
Mm-hmm.
But it felt like the Rose Bowl. Remember the Rose Bowl when they went to overtime with Oklahoma, and it's like I want to say the first play in overtime they went like 20 yards. Felt like the exact same thing. When they got that chunk play, they're going to score and they're going to win, and it's going to be this fan base from Tennessee. I'm not patronizing you, and I say, look, you're really good because you are. But man, you guys get kicked in the junk as much as anybody. It's crazy to me. Crazy. Because you're right there.
Right there.
Like, right there. But at the end of the day, you're sunburnt and you got no voice. You covered, but you didn't win. I don't know, man.
It's not a way of life, but they live it. It feels like a sure hell of a lot of the time, They
know what they signed up for. This is the life we chose, right?
But Scott, like I was talking to, because Reese, the last time the show was there was the Bama walk-off field goal, and Reese was like, "Hey, if you need to get out of there," he's like, get towards this tunnel, and then you just run up. And like, so I went there on Georgia's last drive of regulation. I'm like, I'm getting towards this tunnel, and I'm getting out of here. I'm absolutely exhausted. I want to just go lay in my hotel room and watch ball tonight.
Quickly, wait. What's the AC at in the room as you speak right now?
64. I turned it up a little. It was at 62, but I turned it up so it wouldn't keep going on while we were taping if it made sounds.
Okay. So the man's been in a meat locker for 3 hours.
Yes. Just, And so as I'm I'm on the field in the end zone, we're right in front of Branch when he catches a 2-point, and all the families are coming down, like the coaches' families and the wives. They're not even watching Tennessee's last drive. They're turning and facing the club, the field level club where the TVs are inside, so they can hear the crowd and then see the play. They can't even watch it. And I'm like, man, this is brutal. And then, like you talked about, the sequencing before the field goal in regulation, I'm like, oh, my Lord, this is bad. And overtime, you can't do anything. And you mentioned they bust the play. and then the anger and bad words that were coming out of people's mouths on the walk home was I just put my hat on, put my head down, and try not to make eye contact with anybody.
Yeah, that's it. What can you say?
I have Neyland louder than State College.
Louder than Penn State.
Yes.
Loudest stadium you've been in.
LSU.
It is sort of its own thing.
Yeah.
With respect.
Yeah. But no, but just going back to Georgia and seeing them learn it on the run, and how many guys they play. And Tennessee does a good job too. I mean, this thing is a marathon. Like the haymakers that were thrown and how you got to keep coming back, and like, you know, the wins. I thought there were huge wins in the game. You pointed out when Tennessee gets the strip sack, like Georgia holding that to a field goal. Huge.
Monster,
Tennessee early in the game, holding Georgia to a couple field goals.
Yep.
Those are enormous plays in a game. Again, with the noise level and the momentum swings, it's just so much in these speakers they have. When you walk by them, if you're not paying attention, they'll blow you right over. And they play Rocky Top like it's more than the USC band. It is.
They had a lot of chance to play the fight song today, but
they did.
So did the team back in the Silver Britches. What a football game!
Unbelievable. Those and the other thing, Scott, being here for a bunch of days, the Aguilar story is awesome.
Yeah. He was fantastic.
He was great. I mean, they want him, and like to see their feelings when we ran the UCLA highlight from last night.
We'll get to them. We'll get to them.
This is their guy, and I couldn't be like I meant to mention it on game day, but like when we went to JMU for that crazy ass show, he was the quarterback at App State. App State beat James. They were undefeated.
Yes.
He beat him that day. He was awesome. I stayed for the game.
He was awesome today against Georgia.
Yeah, and then he threw 24 picks in those 2 years. So I'm really happy. They got a guy. Like, you watch all these, and we're going to talk about all these games today.
Yep.
And you start wondering about people. Tennessee's got a guy, man, and as hard as it is because of who it was today, you got to keep your head up in this new day and age. You did it last year, and you got to the playoff. You're a playoff. I mean, I'm watching these games today, and we'll get to Notre Dame and A&M. All these different games. I'm like, this team could go to the playoff.
For sure they could.
This team could go,
Yeah.
So, and where I feel like the fan base was so down after the news and wanted the best for him, but they weren't expecting it. And then you see Aguilar like start doing it, and you're like, we could do this. And I thought their receivers were great today.
They were spectacular.
They'll be all right.
I say this, and I can't know it to be a fact. It just seems like you'd have beaten damn near anyone else today. You just played.
Great way to put it.
You just played a team that had a guy, and for all the talk about aggression, it was the calm. It was the calm in the middle.
He's so awesome.
In the middle of the mayhem that I think helps his guys maintain the belief that they can. Incredible football game. On September the friggin' 13th.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we got to remind ourselves. We got miles to go before we sleep.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some games and some results, though, that are going to hurt some teams.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready? Can we move forward?
Yeah.
I'm going to start in that noon window. I said before the season started, I loved Clemson. They got two losses. They got 2 losses. And let me tell you something. The better quarterback on the field today was Haynes King. He was the better quarterback on the field. That was an excellent football game where Texas had 13-0 and could have been worse.
Mm-hmm.
But Clemson managed to do the same thing Georgia did. They hung in, stayed in the fight. They take a lead, and now it ends up in this wild deal where you're down 1, go ahead, run a version of a Philly special to go up 7. Clemson answers, And then Tech is built to, they're like King runs it. I mean, he's their leading rusher every game. He had over 100 again. So they're not built to go zip, zip, zip down the field, but they're able to get close enough to give Aiden Burr with no timeouts. Like, you got to have a clean operation. Snap, hold, toe meets leather, 55 yards, and they went at the gun on the longest game-winning kick Georgia Tech's ever had. And that's two things. Georgia Tech's good, and Clemson, I'm not burying anyone on September 13th. But, man, you got 2 L's, and we're down 16-0 to Troy. The 2 losses, like, all right, it's to LSU. We'll get to their defense. And it's by 3 on a 55-yard walk-off. Like, it's not like you're bad, but same deal with Notre Dame, who we'll get to. Results are going to matter at some point. I mean, I'm happy for Georgia Tech. That's a great win. It's a great win.
Did you see their schedule?
Georgia Tech?
Yeah.
This is kind of the steepest the hill gets until Georgia.
Temple, Wake Forest, Va-Tech, Duke, who lost again, Syracuse, NC State, BC, Pitt, Georgia.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Over 7.5. No big deal.
No, that seems free. No Florida State, no Miami. I mean, you avoid the worst of it. This was the biggest game. This is something we started talking about a few weeks ago about Clemson. Be careful looking down the road at this one. And now Georgia Tech, you got a whole lot of theoretical, smooth highway in front of you here.
Yeah, I just want to say I was dead wrong. I had Clemson ranked number 1 going into week 1 because of the returning production and all the pieces. And they are down 3 starters today, but I still looked at this matchup like Clemson's got a team that, all right, you want to run the ball, bring it. We got guys. And I like the matchup for Clemson coming in. And I still wasn't positive Haynes was 100%.
I don't think he is.
Yeah, but god damn is he tough kid.
Remember the game against Georgia last year where he was like a piñata and he just kept taking shots and they should have won that game in Athens last year.
Yeah. And he comes on game day today and he's throwing while he's doing the interview. It was awesome. But Clemson, the other issue was their offensive line because they couldn't run the ball.
Nope.
They were 129th coming in. And then today they run it for 174. And you mentioned they're down 13-0. Get a score before the half to make it 13-7.
Yep.
And you're like, all right, maybe it is. But you said it. The better quarterback was on the winning team in this game, and that's an issue. And
you know what I love about it goes back a couple years, but Brent Key was not the sexy guy. And Georgia Tech's, like, you're in a state with Georgia. You're never winning that fight, buddy. Never. They're them and you're not. And so when you decide to make a move, you're like, who can we hire? You tried that last time. And so you don't go sexy. You go with a nuts and bolts program builder, and that's exactly what he's doing. And I love that it's working. It doesn't always. It's hard, man. It's hard to figure out who's going to be the guy. They've got a guy and they have a program. This is a program builder, and this is a significant win for them because, as Steve just mentioned, no one's handing them wins. It's not free. You could lose to anyone. It's college football. But they'll be favored to win a whole lot of football games.
Yeah.
Georgia Tech gets a gigantic win today in what was a hell of a football game. Not the deeper end. Georgia Tennessee's deep end of the pool I always talk about, but I was still Adult Swim. Like Georgia Tech and Clemson didn't need to get out of the water when the whistle blew. That was a good football game. I want to mention this just because it was in the same window. Just Florida State beat Bama week 1, and Bama looked not great on tape and blah, blah, blah. And I get that Wisconsin's not vintage Wisconsin, but I want to mention that Ty Simpson today was 24-29, and one of the 5 incompletions should have been a touchdown pass to Ryan Williams. Hit him It was an absolute dot, and he dropped it. To be fair, Williams scored a touchdown on a play I think he's the only person in college football that could have scored a touchdown on. The point is simply, it was a bad opening game. DeBoer, I think we all saw the video of that lady down in Alabama said, if I win the Powerball, I'm going to buy out DeBoer. Why don't y'all just take a quick 20-second, make it a full, and let's see where we go. Simpson looked good. I don't know if you saw any of that, but he looked good.
I said after that loss to Florida State, I was impressed with him. He showed some guts, and now his accuracy. He had what, 4 incompletions today?
It was five. It was 5, but I'm telling you,
last week he didn't have any.
Well, several were drops that were absolutely where they were supposed to be. So, seems to me that he's finding his footing. Speaking of a quarterback that week 1 lost on the road, Sark says you can't be a quarterback till you get booed off the field, so now Arch Manning's a quarterback. 114 yards against UTEP. They won, but we had these 3 games at home against who'd they play last week? San Jose State, UTEP, and I believe it's Sam Houston next. We had those as get-right games, okay? Then they go to Florida. And let me tell you what, Florida's defense is hellacious. I don't know what the deal is with Arch Manning. I just know that all that stuff in the summer, I'm not right about a lot, but I was like, can we see it before we say it? Like, I don't know. It's not great at the moment. So, just that's all. 114 yards.
Is this how, like, the same way you feel about Caleb Williams?
Kind of. Like, I'm just a little bit. I mean, Caleb Williams went number 1 because the skill set, and he's the guy. Chicago just decided, apparently sight unseen, if the stories that are being told are accurate, that they didn't even entertain the thought of anybody else. And you're like, I don't know. I'm just saying 114 yards against UTEP ain't great, and he got booed off the field in Austin. They won, so that's fine. But you'd like to see them get the ice tilted heavily where it's easy. It just doesn't it doesn't look easy, which
it's not.
I understand that, but I was told he was Jesus. And
yeah, but you didn't believe it.
Of course I didn't. That's why I'm saying when people start handing out, want to touch the hem of the garment, I'm just saying, I don't believe any of that. Like I didn't buy any of that. Okay, but there's a difference between I didn't think he was that and did you think he threw for 114 yards against UTEP?
No.
Okay. I'm not saying he sucks. Like, that's not my thing. I just think it's pretty alarming for a guy that we all were wanting to see what's it going to look like. This is what it looks like. That's all I'm saying. You get one more game against a team you're going to beat by default, and then you go to Gainesville. But, hey, their quarterback might throw it to your defense 5 times, so you might be all right. I'm trying to think of what else I have from the daytime. A couple of things. Remember when Oklahoma was going to get Michigan at home and Barham was out for the first half for Michigan because of a helmet-to-helmet? R. Mason Thomas, their leading sacker for the Sooners in a game they won easily against Temple, got thrown out for targeting. And I believe he'll miss the first half next week against Auburn. So that's you win easy, but you lose a guy for a half. I believe I have that right. Oregon wins easy against Northwestern, but only by 20.
What happened there? Was it 24-0?
It was 31-0, Steve.
Whoa.
And then Northwestern signed up for 60. It was 34-0, I beg your pardon. Then they got a tutter to get within 27. And then they got the ball back late and little house call to only lose by 20.
In front of 17,000?
By the lake. Oregon looks good. Like, they're impressive. They got dudes on both sides of the ball. That game against Penn State in a couple weeks is going to be mayhem.
Yeah, I can't. Watching the Oklahoma State thing, like I can't take Oregon seriously.
Well, and look, I get it. Northwestern's very limited as well. But here's what they did. They did what you're supposed to do against teams that you're physically superior to, both in terms of talent and depth. They won, and it was easy. Oklahoma won, and it was easy. Michigan won by 60. This is sort of some of that we do not care bit. At least Oregon is playing a conference foe. I'm looking at some of the things that were going on early, just that aren't like larger discussion points, but I want to at least acknowledge that they happened. I thought the Sark thing was important to mention. Gave out Miami today. Felt like they would smoke South Florida. They did. I don't know if you saw any of that. We had a weather delay, and I know you got all kinds of stuff going on.
I think they're the best team in the country.
Miami?
Yes.
Speaking of dudes, Beck had a couple. He had a deflection and a pick he got 2 picks, but they didn't trouble me. He threw for 350, I want to say it was. They had like 340, beg your pardon. 3 touchdowns, ran for 1. They had like 250 more than South Florida, and they had Byron Brown in hell.
Yeah.
Their defense, the Canes defense, I mean, it's like the old school. We got some Canes over here. Like it's guys. A couple of times, like South Florida had like a 4th and 2, and I'm sitting there watching it. Again, my sons think I'm like, oh, they're going to just snap it to him, and he's going to try to run, and he's going to get crushed. And he runs right in the middle of like 8 people. My kids look at me like, how did you know that? I'm like, I don't know. Sometimes you could see it. And so could Miami. They win 49-12 over a South Florida team who beat Boise easily and won in the swamp. Miami, yeah, they look the part.
Yeah, they're so good up front on both sides. They move you on offense. And like I said, my biggest question to them was, what were they going to do to replace their top 6 pass catchers they lost? And how is that going to look with a quarterback that wasn't there for spring ball and was coming off the elbow injury? And they've hit the ground running, man. It's super impressive.
Well put.
And I, just going back to, these, the quarterbacks struggling. And that's why I just keep going. Like I'm watching that today. I'm like, man, this is so hard. And Stockton's just going to be a bully and go about the way he goes about it, And Beck is a bunch of people said at ACC Media Day, they were like, he said a lot of stuff where you could tell he didn't meet what he thought he could do last year, and he learned from that and he accepted it. And then the whole, whether they didn't want, everybody was like, oh, George is fine that he's gone. I was like, well, that's never really the case. Now, was there a better offer out there? And that's why he probably decided to go there? But maybe. But it's a combination of things.
Yes.
But
Go ahead.
the biggest difference is the kid was humbled. And he realized he had to get back in working. And I think that the totality of that, and then getting hurt and not being able to try and win another championship for his school that he was at, I think he had a big, learning experience.
But that's a positive. That's a net positive. Like the biggest thing that you and I have talked about during this NIL and portal era is, and you lived it. You were the guy. You were a 5-star guy. And, I think it's hard for these kids because it's easy. Does that make sense? In other words, like when you went to Stanford, you tell the story about being on the phone and whatever else. Like back then, like you'd be like, "Fuck this! I'm gone. Come on, I'm leaving," because it's easy. And now it's easy to leave. And so here's a guy that was at the highest level at Georgia, making his dough, but then gets humbled, and they're fine that he left. They're in a great spot. Gunner showed you today who he can be, and Miami's thrilled that they were able to get him with the money that they paid. Sometimes both teams can benefit from a change of scenery for the guy that they have.
And I think people don't realize that can happen with this new NIL because it's so new. And you're on different sides of things a lot of times with players,
But this is an example of how Beck clearly benefits and George is going to be just fine. Not everybody's it's not going to work that way for everybody.
No.
As we see before we get to the night games, can we pivot into just, I don't want to be mean, but buddy, we got a couple of who's down worse candidates. May I?
Go ahead.
So last night, Steve, I watched New Mexico body UCLA. Now, if you want to send me the picture of the Rose Bowl early with no one there, okay.
Yeah, that's my whole life.
That's not the problem, all right? When you live in a city where it's a pain in the ass to get somewhere and it's a pro town and it's a not on campus scenario.
And they're 0-2.
Hey, look at Miami's crowds forever.
Yeah.
Horrendous. Urban setting, not on campus. No one would go. I give them credit. The place was packed today after the weather delay as they smack South Florida. But like that, the problem for UCLA isn't the picture of an empty Rose Bowl. The problem is that New Mexico kicked their ass.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? 450 yards, 22 first downs, had it for like 13 more minutes, fumbled going in, I want to say a couple of times. Mm-hmm. I was coming home from work trying to keep tabs on what was going on. By the time I got home, I just sat there late on Friday night going, my God, they're stomping UCLA. So here's Nico Iamaleava, who decides that the Tennessee situation, whatever the deal was, he got horrendous advice and thought that his market was one thing and tried to go free agent, hold out, hold in, and Tennessee said, hit the bricks. And they're horrible, Steve. They're 0-3. Utah obliterated them on that field. They lost to UNLV, and New Mexico goes into the Rose Bowl and has their way. And I don't know, you got to get up early. I'm sure you weren't watching into the wee hours. But I just am curious your reaction to a Big Ten team that's just switched a conference affiliation that has an apathy problem within its fan base already and has a money problem in terms of its available NIL and whatever. And now this is where you're at. I'd suggest it'd be hard to be down worse than that. Except,
yes.
It's so cool, Steve. They do this thing and they play this music. Exit light. Buddy.
31-0 at half.
You're on your home field getting absolutely worked by a team from Norfolk. I have my own problems with Norfolk. But, Steve, they gave up 526 yards, 29 first downs, and 45 points to the Monarchs. They got crushed on their home field. And Steve and I last week said it. We said the thing about, I'm done with this, how cool the entrance is. Win a game that matters. Forget win a game that matters. Don't get your teeth kicked in by Old Dominion. I thought UCLA at home to New Mexico is really bad. This is worse, is it not?
I agree. I watched New Mexico against Michigan in their first game.
They were competitive.
To get ready for Michigan last week. And I'm like, this coach knows what he's doing. They ran some stuff.
Right?
They caught Michigan's defense. Yeah. and he brought his quarterback with him who got his ass kicked against Michigan, but he got up every time. They had a good tight end that they got the ball to, and they were spunky. And then this week, I'm like, I need a freaking win in Superdog so bad. And Reese and I usually let everybody go so we don't double up. And so it got down to it. We both liked Arkansas, and they were taken. And then I was like, screw it. I went South Alabama against Auburn. I just thought it was a huge
I gave them out in winners.
game.
No big deal. Easy.
There you go. And I looked at ODU, and I'm like, I can't lie. I haven't seen him play, and I don't want to do it. But I could have been awesome.
I mean, I'm not rejoicing over the fact that Virginia Tech is 0 whatever they are, 3. It's just that the point that and you know what though, like I was prepared for Virginia Tech, who has a passionate and proud fan base, to be all mad at you and me. And really all I heard from anybody was, you're right. It sucks. This is what we are. And then that's before this.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's brutal. It's not a person in the world had them 0-3.
No, and I thought they were competitive against South Carolina. Like they were competitive against South Carolina. That game turned on a Nick Harbor bomb and a special teams punt return. Because they were drones and Virginia Tech were competitive in that game. And they went out in the portal and was like, I think they might have them in North Carolina have as many new people as anyone. And I mean, they got beat by a lot by Old Dominion on their home field.
Yeah, it's not great. And my alma mater, I was legit. I told you, if they don't beat Hawaii, it's probably an offer. And we're already in that state. But to be Virginia Tech and be 0-3 with a loss to ODU, that's rough, man.
Well, I mean, to lose
because now you got to start all over again.
To lose is one thing. Like you can lose a game. It was 31-0. You weren't bullshit. That was a score. Ricky Rain, by the way, Old Dominion. Let's acknowledge this wasn't handed to you. It wasn't awarded to you like a prize. You earned it. You won the game. So all credit to you. By the way, they went and played Indiana actually pretty close. Covered, anyway, I know that much. But they got Liberty. All right, let's keep an eye on the Monarchs. Norfolk's like my second home.
Looking at real estate there.
Probably not, but I mean, I do. Yeah. I remember that bridge as we drove home. But wow, the UCLA Virginia Tech 0-3 start duo is really something. Shall we dip our toe in the night water?
UCLA at Northwestern.
That'll be is that big? Is that big noon? No, that's actually a 10 a.m. kick at Utah. Utah's good. Late touchdown in Wyoming. Bad beat. Wow. Wow. Not as bad as Nova, but that's got all the makings for many layers of what happened.
That could be in the open.
Replace the Mississippi State, Illinois. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah,
because the catch that's made is just. I can't wait for Monday. It's going to be 3 a.m. after the doubleheader ends. I don't care. I'll be absolutely hammered on Tipsy Welshman. Me and you just wrecked on the set, screaming. The night games, as good as the day games were, the night games were fantastic.
Yeah,
fantastic. Speaking of South Carolina, and I said I had Vanderbilt in winners.
Me too.
Now, Lenore Sellers left the game early, and that sucks because he's a special talent. But I don't care. I don't want to stop. I do care. Had he been in the game, I still would have liked Vanderbilt because I picked him before the injury happened. I just thought the Doors would go in there and compete. They don't just compete. I mean, Clark Lee's team won 31-7. And that's a big win for them, that's a significant loss, obviously, for a South Carolina team that's 11th. I mean, you're trying to ascend. You can't get beat that way at home. But again, you lose your quarterback, and you haven't prepared for that to be the scenario you're going to have to try to fight through. And you're playing Pavia and Vanderbilt, so that's a big win for them. The biggest win of the night, I think you have to say, is A&M over Notre Dame.
No doubt. They never win that game.
How about
Never.
Marcel Reed?
I love that kid.
Whew.
Love
Gig
him.
him.
I'm so happy for Elko. Saw our guy Lucci on the sidelines giving some fist pumps. No, that was a game. I had Marcel Reed circled all off season because I looked at this game and I saw what they got. I mentioned Concepcion. That kid's a stud.
The
And
NC
then,
State wide receiver transfer.
Yeah, but then the other one from Mississippi State he had 170 at half tonight. What's his name? Not Crowder.
Craver. 7 for 207. Damn, that's a
and
number.
And Elko said he went to his guys, and they were like, Coach, that guy last year for the Mississippi State, he was the hardest guy we had to guard. Boom.
That's your best. That's your best scout. Is your go to your guys. Hey, the guy that plays for us now, we couldn't stop.
No doubt. But to see the dominoes fall that always do at Notre Dame for a home game with the Irish, and one thing with the broadcast, can we stop showing Tyler Buckner and the poor tight end who had the holding call? Like, what do you want them to do, man? Like, the game is still going.
That was tough.
I just thought that was low. I didn't like that at all.
I have a question. Did you? And what we're talking about, obviously, people listening to this, they know what happened after Notre Dame went for it on a fourth down, had a couple of great plays. They scored a touchdown, going to go up by 7. Extra point snap is bobbled, and instead of being ahead 7, they're up 6. And then A&M returns the kick for a touchdown. There's a hold 17, the tight end.
He tackled him.
Right. But the thing that sucks from A&M's perspective is it had nothing to do with the play, because by the time the ball's being received, the guy that he tackled is up on his feet. But they had to throw that flag. They missed a hold on the fourth down on the last play, I thought. I don't know. Did you see that?
I didn't see the hold. I was watching the last play.
Well, I watched the last play, and then I went back, and I'm like, oof. Amazing on a field where Notre Dame's gotten some calls through the years. They might have missed a hold on the last play, but Reed, in a gotta have it moment, got it.
Yeah. I mean, I've talked about those are like two of my favorite head coaches in the sport, and I was fired up for this game, knowing what A&M could be this year, and again, they're in that Tennessee tier
of close but sort of star-crossed. Always something bad happens.
And crazy passionate fan base, and enormous fan base, but they never could get over the hump. I mean, I was reading this week, the last time they beat a top 10 out of conference opponent was 79. They went to Penn State and won. So it's been a while. Like that fan base knows pain, just like we were talking about the volunteer fan base. And you go to Notre Dame, you get a punt blocked, you get a personal foul. You saw Elko slam the chair. Like, we can't do this shit, guys. Like, you can't do this shit if we're going to try and win a game on the field. And they overcome all that and win the game. I think it's a huge, huge moment for Elko in that team. And I also am really happy for Colin Klein, because, our guy Ciancia that writes the Pick Six preview, he has a good thing about it. He calls it a second-year coordinator bump, second-year coach bump. And I think you've seen that with Colin Klein, learn a lot about coming from the Big 12, playing in the Big 12, and then being a coordinator in the SEC last year and having to, dice roll quarterbacks back and forth. And now he has his guy. He has his system implemented. He gets 2 wins to start the year, knowing that you're coming to Notre Dame, and they were fantastic.
Notre Dame needed it more than them too, and and they didn't get it. That's a tough one because I mean, if you look down the road for the Irish after they lost at Miami, and no shame in how they lost, it's a close game, but in terms of where are the wins Notre Dame's going to get that are going to grab your attention and say, "Ooh, that's a big one." I mean,
they lost one today with Pitt.
Well, I'll tell you a game they better be real careful with. They go to Arkansas, and let me tell you something. Talon Green is, of all the people I watched today, I thought, man, it would be fun to watch that guy and root for him to be your quarterback. And Petrino is dialing it up. Their offense, they lost by 6, getting 6.5. No big deal. But that Green accounted for over 400 yards, 300 through the air, 100 on the ground. They're going to beat somebody. They had the ball and are going in to beat Ole Miss in Oxford, and no one's defense made a play, but the Rebs stripped it, and they were able to get a first down, which allowed them to take knees and win by 6. But Notre Dame plays at Arkansas. Hogs are good, and Green is as dangerous a quarterback as you're going to face. But other than that, I guess do they play SC? So they'll get the USC game.
SC comes to them.
They've got to have that. And I mean, they're Notre Dame. So if they only have 2 losses and they're by 3-1, people probably aren't going to say, well, I mean, there's a dozen people. Notre Dame, if they win all their games, I'm sure they'll be fine.
Scott, we were talking about today. There's going to be some really good 3-loss teams that are going to have way better wins than they have.
They're not named. They're not named Notre Dame.
I understand that, but this is the new age that we're in.
I understand. Look, that's why I'm saying this was a much right before that last play. I'm thinking Notre Dame has to, they got to have it. They got to win this game, and they didn't because Marcel Reed. Throw and catch. And that game was spectacular. I was watching it, I'm thinking, how's this game this high scoring? And I feel like the defenses have actually made some plays. I felt like there's good talent on both sides of the ball, on both teams on that side of the ball. And your final ends up at 41-40. But I don't know. Reed, I thought was great all night. I know you're a fan of Elko, and we're both big fans of Freeman as well. I'm not saying I'm not a fan of Elko, but anyway, that game was awesome. And then the game in Baton Rouge, I don't know if you've got anything else there. I'm not trying to just steamroll on to the.
No, I just think so. You still think 2-loss Notre Dame gets in?
I mean, they're Notre Dame. SC's gonna win a lot of games. I think
SC is good.
I agree. Bang that big ass drum, Purdue.
And I also think Barry Odom's a hell of a coach because they're as improved as anybody.
They turned it over twice in the end zone. And I know our friend the Bear was looking for some scores there to add up.
Me too.
Didn't add up to enough. But yeah, no, Odom's a ball coach and Purdue's much better, which is part of the reason why I liked him. But the night game in Baton Rouge was LSU won a football game with 10 first downs. 10. Mm-hmm. Florida's defense is like that. They are really good. And Nussmeier made one really inexplicable error. McDonough was crushing him. He's like, 5th-year guy can't make that mistake, and he's right.
On an offsides play,
what are we doing? What are we doing? But, buddy, you and I both raved about Lagway, and tonight, as good as LSU's defense is, and they're plenty good. Lagway was horrible. Horrible. Got the ball down 10, driving. It's a long field goal, but it's a third down. He throws it into triple coverage, taking a shot downfield. There are 3 Tigers and 1 Gator picked in the end zone. Get the ball back because LSU can't get any first downs. Driving again, get a 4th down, and then from the middle of the field, like if you're going to throw it away, throw it away. And he throws it again into like there's a couple of Gators and 3 or 4 Tigers, and it's his 5th pick of the night. And a lot of it's the team you're up against. We know the voodoo of the venue. It's real. It's real, okay? But he really hurt his team tonight. And you just can't make the mistakes that he made, period. He was bad.
Yeah, I that's why I hated this game for them. It's his first true road start in the SEC. He's going up against a awesome defense. And again, going back to the point, this thing ain't easy. And he pressed, and Baker's defense is awesome, and he just kept compounding mistake after mistake. But again, going back to the beginning, he makes an unbelievable play. They got another freaking touchdown.
That is on that.
They had 4.
That's on the
week.
list. It's 3-0, and Steve, it's not just a touchdown. It was a 90-yard touchdown.
Yeah,
90 yards,
and it was a great play by him because no quarterback ever.
You're
sees
right,
it.
and I'm glad you said that because Lagway made an awesome play there that should have given them a double-digit lead on a night where you'd had 10 points and the other team you played only had 10 first downs. 10 wasn't going to be enough to win the game. But if you're up 10 early in a game like that, probably a lot of the nerves settle because the game plays out entirely differently from there just because you've got that double-digit lead. But again, after a week where they lost to USF, where on one drive they had 3 touchdowns called back, they lose a touchdown and a 90-yarder on a third down in the first quarter of that game.
I have a question
Please.
for you. If you're on the road, okay, and you have multiple false start penalties on an offensive lineman starting early, or 2 different offensive linemen, or the same offensive lineman doing it twice, is that coaching?
Where's the venue? Is it in Tiger Stadium?
You're on the
Just
road.
Anywhere?
You're on the road. Yeah.
I mean, some of these places I saw today, I think it's hard to hold your water. I think well-coached teams are the least penalized. But I think these are young people, man, in front of 110,000. I don't know. You've been in those venues. You'd know better than I would. Is it on the kid or is it on the coach?
I think it's on the kid. I really do. And now we're talking about getting paid. You practice those scenarios. And I could be wrong here, but I watched Georgia in one of the most raucous atmospheres I've ever been in. I don't think they had one pre-snap.
I don't remember one.
And they were super, super dialed in and organized amidst absolute chaos.
Yeah.
But I give their guys credit because they were the ones that were out there and they held it together. And there's going to be this thing about coaching and, holding calls, like on that touchdown with Florida. That's coaching. Like, the player did it. He's not coached to hold.
Right.
No,
I
get it. It's just, it's hot, and the issues are always going to fall on the coach. I get it, but at some point in this changing world where these guys are getting paid a lot of money,
do your job.
You got to be better in those.
You're saying DYJ, do your job.
Yeah,
it's hard to argue with that. I mean, I think a Big Cat. They're just kids. What?
Different kids
for sure. I give Napier credit. I mean, he knows that the water's boiling, and he put his arm around his quarterback and loved him up, and you could see him coaching him up, and you could see I mean, Lagway knew it. He's not out there trying to F it up.
Yeah, exactly.
And you and I and so many others are going to always tell you that going into that place at night, making it out alive is a game ball worthy accomplishment. You got to go out. You got to go, Red. You want to go outside? Are you done? I wish you could see the dog. He's looking at me going, have you reached? Come here. Come here, big boy. Come here. I think he's reached the end of his rope. And now they go to Miami, right? Isn't that
yeah, we'll be there.
Game day's Miami and Florida?
Mm-hmm.
Boy, that'll be something.
Mm-hmm. Next week's slate is unbelievable.
Like today's slate, like I made the point on SportsCenter, like the Big Ten largely was nothing to look at. It's, a bunch of directional schools and this and that. They really upped the ante next week. It was kind of the SEC had their own sort of standalone deal here, and then the Miami South Florida game was a big one. Obviously, Notre Dame was welcoming an SEC team to their joint, but it is deep next week. That Utah Texas Tech game, I mean, I'm really, really interested to see that because, I don't know, Texas Tech, they beat the brakes off Oregon State. I don't know what to make of that.
Oregon State's
awful.
They're
really not good.
And the Ducks get them next week.
That'll be a lot to nothing, not many. And then Utah, as I said, they got a late touchdown in Laradice to take the covered wagon to cover town. But they'll be hosting. That's a big one. And y'all are in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
And then the following week, I assume, is the State College for Oregon, Penn State. I mean, I know you guys don't. I know you guys don't announce, but
there's also some heavy hitters that day. The Tide goes to Athens.
Ooh,
yeah,
that's it. Aggression.
Shout out Kirk Ferentz.
Yeah, he got to win number, what is it, 9,000?
The most in the Big Ten. There's a lot of freaking head coaches in the Big Ten, man.
They played UMass,
Lifers.
who lost to Bryant last week. So I think UMass might lose to the team that your hat is. What's the hat?
Pellissippi State.
You repped them?
Yeah, Panthers. Great logo.
Yeah, it is. Were they fired up to get love on the
oh yeah.
On America's favorite pod?
It was awesome. It was awesome. They got a good cheer too when Reese said their name, that I was wearing them, like from the Tennessee folks.
Hell yeah. They know what time it is.
Really cool. You think USC should be ranked, right?
Yes, they're good.
Yeah, I think
they're good.
Their skill guys are excellent.
They're good. They're going to give up points though. Like Purdue moved the football on them. Georgia Southern moved the football on them. They're going to give up points.
Correct.
But they're going to score a bunch too.
Yeah, I think their offense is elite.
Yeah.
Have you watched Songapulu Tele?
He's playing right now, right?
Yeah.
That's
He's different, man.
That's the Cal quarterback.
Yes.
And that's those that are ball knowers know was going to go to Cal, then said, nah, I'm going to go to Oregon, and then said,
was at Oregon.
And then nah, I'm going to go to Cal. I don't know how it happened, but Duck, you guys are fine. Dante can do it. But I'm happy that Cal got a guy because you got enough. Oregon's got enough guys.
Yeah. Why did he have to go to Cal, though?
I should have thought about that as I was saying it. I realized it doesn't make you happy.
He's awesome.
Some talented freshman quarterbacks out there. Hashtag.
Who's your favorite quarterback
in the country? I told you. He plays for Arkansas.
Oh.
God, he's fun to watch.
Yeah, he's super skilled. He's got a perfect guy calling his plays,
and that's the thing is that you got a guy in Petrino that's dialing up ball plays, and there's people running wheel routes, and shit's just open. And I I mean, that's the guy I enjoyed watching the most on today.
Okay.
I'm telling you right now, they're going to beat people. They could have won tonight. Arkansas is going to beat people. I'll tell you who needs to beat people tomorrow is the Hurricanes and the Gators. We got some flag star on the AM.
College teams now?
I don't know, dude. It just changes. Just it's bleeding into the 1 o'clock window. It's just a little bit.
How many underdogs of 20 points did you have in winners?
I gave out Temple. That was not close. I gave out Purdue, winner, Northwestern, winner, South Alabama, winner, and I think one other. Oh, Ohio, winner.
Why not Arkansas State?
Loved him. At some point, Steve, I gave out 10 fucking picks.
Go to 12.
You know what? I'm gonna. I mean, the people I liked Arkansas State, didn't give them. Loved West Virginia. Backyard brawl was spectacular. Loved West Virginia. They just got beat by Ohio a week ago, and I mean, I left winners on the floor. America, I make you a vow. I'm not going to leave winners on the floor anymore. Why should I hoard all of these pieces of Halloween candy when all I have to do is write them on the card and then say them underneath Trombone Shorty? Because Arkansas State, now, to be fair, Wyoming would have been also on there too, and then that would have been a disgusting bad beat.
Was A&M on there?
I liked them, but I almost didn't give Georgia Tech because I'm like, I think I'm getting too cute, and that line came down a lot, and I just thought I knew I was getting the worst of the number, and you're telling people to back a bad number because if you bet it early, you would have gotten a whole lot more. So, but I just landed on 10, and I'm, on balance, 8-2. Can you complain? No, but it's like playing golf. When you 3-putt on 18 and you say, I should have shot this, and you forget that you hold out from the bunker a couple of times. Because Northwestern was, frankly, a bit fortunate to get there. Ohio was hanging on for dear life in the end, I guess. But Florida, I mean, they look like the right side. And I really like Lagway. That's why I just thought I thought some decisions that were made tonight were just really, really poor. But again, the voodoo of the venue. Serious.
I thought BK was awesome after the game with Molly McGrath saying, we needed to win like this. Did you hear it? Yeah. He's like, those are 3 instances I go for it, and we punted because our defense was awesome. And
winning the game that way.
I'm worried about their offense.
Well, I mean, the Clemson game and this game, like they managed to win twice because their defense was really good. But at some point, I mean, again, I'll reference Arkansas. You play them, you're going to need to score more than your offense is going to have to score points. I don't know what Steve just saw, but something good just happened. We watching Stanford? What'd they do?
We got 1st and goal, 2020. 2 minutes left in the third. BC is trying to let us win.
All right. Well, I love you, but I think you could probably take me or leave me, but I don't assume we're not going to stay on to dock this boat with Stanford for the people in the pod.
No.
I have a question though that's for our pod listeners locally. One of my dear friends and yours, son goes to Tennessee. He and his bride were there. Here, hold on. Eat this bottle, not my head. Here, go ahead. Have that. Go ahead, Red. I don't care if it rattles. The man's going to break my arm in half. How did you introduce him to people? Friend of a friend? This is Van Pelt's boy? Or my friend?
Here's the deal. I don't think I introduced him once.
Then that mean that you couldn't just say, this is my guy, Sanko?
Yeah, no, I did. Oh, yeah, we went to the Vol Navy ship, did some sailgating, met Admiral Greg.
What's up, Greg?
He was not getting off the boat today to go to the game.
I mean, he's
He made an appearance on game day, and he was all set.
That barbecue that McAfee was eating looked like it was fall off the bone good.
Yeah, the fried chicken was awesome.
So good.
Bunch of good spots down there. Peyton's Bar in here, Saloon 16 at the Graduate. Spectacular.
Imagine that. Something that Peyton Manning does is done just right.
Yeah, I was going to introduce myself to him, but I didn't have the guts to today on the field.
We're teammates.
I know, but I didn't. You know, he's on the 50-yard line of his alma mater. Like, I'm not going up to him.
Because you know what? I wouldn't either. I wouldn't bother the guy.
I'm not doing that.
He's Peyton Manning. It's like going up to Prince Charles in London. Like,
Correct.
Hey, King, what's up, bro? Want to go get some chips? Fish and chips?
Yeah.
I'm sorry if this is the bad noise right now with the bottle eating, but it's way better than
no one's listening.
Not a single human.
No.
Not one.
I got one for you on the way out.
You could talk to me on the phone since no one's listening, but go ahead.
Our producer, Jack.
Vol grad.
Yes.
Or a Vol fan. I actually don't know if he's a graduate of Tennessee. He could have gone to Pepperoni State. I don't know.
I make fun of you for loving fantasy.
Uh-huh.
He's psychotic.
How so?
He's in 10 leagues.
Oh, that's absurd.
Jack, the floor is open if you want to back yourself
up. You have 10
there.
teams, Jack?
I am in 10 leagues.
10?
10 leagues.
Yeah, 10 leagues.
That's like the other night when Daniels throws the touchdown to Debo. That benefits me because I have Debo, but then in another league where it would be better that Debo didn't score, it actually hurts me. So that play both helps and hurts, and that's when you're in 10 leagues, every single play in every single game would both benefit you and hurt you. You just have to hope that it benefits you most in the league where you can make the most money.
Jack, tell him about the Guillotine League.
Okay, yeah. So a Guillotine League is where a team gets cut every single week who scores the least amount.
No, I know
of points.
that. It's an awesome idea. And then you get to pick, if you beat them, you get to take anyone you want off that team. Is that accurate?
Correct. It's fab budget with favors. So it's a war to try and get the players that got chopped.
How about this? Okay, so in a couple leagues, I got Harold Fannin, and then in the leagues where it's fab budgets, he went for over $300.
What?
You heard me?
Oh my God.
People have $1,000 to use for the season. Someone spent $300+ on Bowling Green tight end Harold Fannin. And I mean, in the one league, it went for that, so I upped my ante. Like, if somebody had Jamar Chase and he got beat, like, what's Jamar Chase? I'd spend $1,000 just to get him. It'd be worth it. I'd spend my whole budget.
Yeah. In my Guillotine League, neighbors went for $500 after week 1, which I thought was a little heavy, but that was the value of a $1,000 budget.
See, I've never been in one, so I would just be reckless and crazy.
You should get in one.
Get at me, America. Where's a massive high stakes guillotine league? I need the stakes to be enough to get my pulse racing. Because as I'm like Scrooge McDuck sleeping on gold bullion over here, handing out winners like it's my damn job. Except this shit's free. Thursday nights. All you got to do is watch. Well, actually, you don't, because Steve's going to tweet it out.
There you go. I'm here for the people.
So am I. You know what? Fuck it. Next week I'll give out 20. Right now I'm seeing the board. It's like the Matrix. He's beginning to believe. It's like slowing down, and I'm just grabbing the bullets.
There's so many good games.
Good. I'm going to give them all out. I failed by not giving out Arkansas State. That was the one that hurt me because
I couldn't believe you didn't.
Temple. And I love Temple because it was actually, I never give out real reasons. It's always just because I said on the show. But like the idea that Oklahoma played at home against Michigan a week ago and Auburn next week, and now they got to go to Philadelphia to play in the fucking Link in front of tens of people. I'm thinking, this is just a sleepy nooner. And he'd be like, hey, Venables, you're an asshole. And Temple would get there. They did not. So that was a poor read from me. Not a good cap, as they say. All right, my dog's ingesting an entire bottle. I got to go through and figure out who are we starting, because once we get to the flag football field, I don't want to be the dad on my phone going, should I start Rome Odunze? I actually don't have him. So,
not in one league.
I wanted him. I never got him. All right, so we'll see. I'll see you in New York City Monday. A little doubleheader. Accurate?
Oh, I heard we got a nice plane.
Yeah, that's the word on the street. They upgraded us.
Shout out to the
we're flying up there on the fucking space shuttle. We're gonna get there in 12 minutes.
8 minutes.
8 to 12. We're good. All right. Thank you for listening. Not one human is there, but anyone that is, God love you. See you Tuesday. It's SVPod.